was announced earlier on today that Castroneves will enter the ARCA Menard Series race at Daytona to get more super speedway racing experience as well. He'll drive the number 82 Chevrolet for Pinnacle Racing Group as teammate to Brendan Butterbean Queen. Castroneves said that he's looking forward to competing in the ARCA race at Daytona because the additional seat time will help him the following day in the Daytona 500. And Matt, do you think that testing the Cup car first at Talladega and then running in the ARCA race at Daytona separate will give Castroneves a great shot at being more competitive in the Great American Race, assuming, of course, that he makes it and qualifies in?
Yeah, exactly. That's the most important thing. He's got to get in on time and then through his duels. There's no point sending him for a test, is there, at Kansas, Homestead, somewhere, Texas Motor Speedway. So the only other place you can go, and of course Daytona's pretty busy for the next couple of weeks with their on-track activities, is Talladega. So, I mean, single car test, I don't think he's going to learn much, but he'll get him acclimatized to the vehicle and, learn that kind of thing. He's not been in the seat for a while, has he, in anything? So take him a while to get up to speed. Of course, that ARCA race 10 generally at Daytona at the beginning of the season is an absolute head mess, let's say, without trying to swear on air. So he's just got to try and survive that, as Shane Van Gisbergen had to do last year in a kind of similar situation, so he could get into his Xfinity seat for the Daytona race. So kind of a similar thing, but he doesn't have to do, from what I understand, he doesn't have to do the same procedure because of all his, of course, oval experience through all the IndyCar stuff. So he's not got that to worry about, whereas Van Gisbergen had to get his mileage in to be into the race for Xfinity. So slightly different scenario, although very similar. But yeah, just getting himself acclimatized to the car and stuff is is going to be interesting, and see how he goes from there. But as we've already said, if he can get to the race, it's going to be a big thumbs up for NASCAR. Fox will be all over it, of course, with all the promotion, and they'll have all the stuff in the pre-race. So going to be exciting.
Follow-up question just quickly coming in as well from Leonardo. Good evening to you. I don't know much about Helio, but he's a very electric and upbeat personality that you can't help to root for. So now I have a reason to watch the 500. Absolutely fantastic reason as well. And Joe says as well, Speed Week is going to be a must-watch. Quali, Jules, and the 500. We're going to be very busy as well. Adam says, this reminds me of when Alonso Jr. competed for Hendrick Motorsports in the Daytona 500 as well. I want to tie back actually quickly to a follow-up after we get to Matthew Owens here, who says, with very little practice for the qualifying race, I would imagine Trackhouse puts everything into getting Helio in on speed on Wednesday night and use Thursday night as a 150-mile practice session for him. I agree there as well, but in essence, we saw Kyle Larson last year adapt to Indy 500 and all the drivers helping him, including Helio Castroneves. Would Kyle Larson come and help Helio now as he's transferred over to his end of the pond and sort of say, look, this is what you've got to do? Do you expect the drivers to sort of take their arm around and say, we'll help you because you helped us?
Yeah, I guess there'll be a lot of Chevrolet family bonding going on with Castroneves and the Trackhouse team, all four of them now, and then obviously outside of that with Chevrolet. To Joe's point about Speed Week, it's been such a long time since we've had a really interesting Speed Week where we're going to have, to use the Indy 500 term, bumping going on and people falling out in the duels and stuff and not making the race. It's just seems like forever since we've had a really interesting kind of subplot to that week through qualifying and the races to get to the big race, which is always exciting for the go or go homers.
It's going to be a great week, and that kicks off, of course, next month. Matthew Owens saying because he won't learn anything about drafting in a test at Talladega, and almost nothing he'll learn in that ARCA race will translate. No, it's literally like, what is it? Fishing in a pond in your back garden compared to fishing in the middle of the sea. It's two completely different worlds.
Or to use the Daytona example, in Lake Lloyd.
Yeah, that's a good one, actually. Yeah, I'm getting used to Daytona. Me and you are going to be fed up with Daytona by the end of this, by the end of February, because we'll be there non-stop. We've got the Raw before the 24, Rolex 24, Speed Weeks for Daytona, and then the 500 as well. And then we crack off, of course, because the regular season ends now back in as well. So another additional driver will be driving, of course, because Katherine Legge will be adding a new style of racing to her resume when she competes in the ARCA Series season opener at Daytona. Legge will drive the number 23 Chevrolet for Sigma Performance Services. Now, throughout her career, she has raced a lot of different cars in open wheel and sports car racing, even made some road course starts in NASCAR Xfinity Series and one oval start at Richmond. Legge is also going to be driving a midget dirt car in the Chili Bowl Nations next week. So she said that she's excited to jump back in a stock car and has made thousands of laps around Daytona, but never on an oval in the draft. The photo courtesy there of ARCA. Yeah, of course, she's been competing in the Rolex 24, so has done all bar turn 1 and 2 effectively on that one. Joe says, with trackhouse equipment, I assume one goal is to have him qualify in the front row to secure a spot. I would assume that they're going to just time to go for it and not lift off the throttle.
Don't get me started, Joe, on Daytona 500 pole qualifiers. That's a thread we don't want to be going down this early in the season.
Hey, I'm looking forward to it. I can't wait. It's always one of the big ones.
It's going to be cool, but if he gets the pole position, if he gets the pole position, then we can just add that to the list of bits of fix. Anyway, carry on.
We're 13 minutes in to this show. And I'm about to make my
it's gone wrong already.
I'm about to make my first point. Even Danica did well at Daytona in qualifying. So let's just hold our hands up here. That you don't necessarily have to be a good racing driver. Right. 13 and a half minutes in, one Danica down. So with major names like Castroneves and Legge running in the ARCA race at Daytona on Big Fox as well, is this now becoming a must-watch race? And could you see Katherine attempting the Daytona 500 in the future?
Good to see Legge putting together this program. She's had some Xfinity running in the past previously, but most of those have been on road courses. So good to see her doing the oval stuff. Chili Bowl Nationals is going to be cool to see how she gets on in that. That's going to be, I mean, that's just a great event anyway, regardless of who turns up. But yeah, this ARCA race at Daytona, I think, because we all I'm still watching stuff from September, so it's not a problem to me. We pander for all this stuff over the off season. As soon as we get to Daytona, everyone goes, "Oh, here we go! I'm going to watch the ARCA race." And then you sit there through 2 hours of caution and realize it was probably a bad idea. And then you don't watch ARCA again for the rest of the season, and realize it was a good idea. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I think we have the Van Gisbergen thing, which I talked about before. Last year, now we've got Castroneves and Legge, which sounds like a row 7 of an IndyCar race from about 2007 and I don't know, St. Pete or somewhere. But they're in the ARCA race at Daytona to try and get themselves into the rest of the weekend's racing. So much like the Castroneves story, good to see other people coming and having a go. Let's hope that they're successful at doing so. And Kat has her own, from the female side of things, she has a good following and stuff all the way back through the IndyCar days and from the IMSA paddock as well. So another bunch of people that will be, tuning in to see one of their favourite drivers do well.
15 minutes in, 2 digs already. We're for a new record this year. Ben's with us as well and says, and that will be the first of about 297 unprovoked shots at Danica Patrick from Josh this season. Yes, it probably will be. And
start the Charlie chart now.
Yeah, start. That's 1 for Danica as well, which is more than victories she ever got in either. Well, that's 1 victory she got in IndyCar, but you can't technically call it IndyCar race because that still was in the split. So half the actual drivers were at Long Beach for the final kart race and half of them were in Japan. So technically that's 1 victory that she's managed to get in IndyCar and still 1 better than she ever managed in NASCAR. That's 2. Adam says Joe got to beat those Hendrick Chevys regarding the front row for the Daytona 500. Absolutely, as you're also going to remember Glove last year with Logano getting in the pole position alongside Michael McDowell. So I promise not to do any more Danica jokes for the second of the program. I promise.